Now, you filed a lawsuit on behalf of Darren Patterson Christian Academy. The school had been approved for a pre-K, a universal pre-K program in Colorado, but there was a bit of a snag when it came to the rules and regulations under which they would have to operate. Tell us a little bit about the baseline for this lawsuit.
Sure, yeah. As you mentioned, Darren Patterson Christian Academy applied to participate and was actually approved to participate in Colorado's inaugural universal preschool program. This is a program that's designed to be truly universal to benefit everybody. It's where the state of Colorado has agreed to pay up to 15 hours of preschool tuition for all 4-year-olds in the state. And Darren Patterson Christian Academy, which operates a preschool called Busy Bees, was really excited about this opportunity to serve more children in its community. It's been serving the Chaffee County community since 1982, so for over 40 years. The problem, though, was that the state department that is in charge with administering this program has imposed rules that would require the school to give up its religious beliefs and its religious practices simply to participate. It would have to agree to hire those who don't share its faith or its values. And also would require it to make some changes to its internal policies, which are based on its religious beliefs. These are things that the school just can't do, and so we filed a lawsuit.
You know, when you look at this, and I think people who aren't people of faith, they might struggle to understand why it's important for a Christian school or any denominational school. It could be any religion for that matter, not just a Christian school, but that particular education facility to choose people to be on staff who share in their worldview. Can you help explain why that's important? I know for people who get it, it's an easy answer, but some don't understand that.
Yeah, all I would say is that the school's asking for no different treatment than every other business and every other organization. Every secular business and organization expects its employees to share its vision and values. And that's all that Darren Patterson Christian Academy is trying to do. It just happens to be religious. And so when you're a religious institution, necessarily you're going to hire those who share your religious vision and values. And that's important because the whole reason why you do things it's carried out through your employees. And that's no different for a religious organization versus a secular organization. And what the state of Colorado is saying to Darren Patterson Christian Academy is that you have to give up your religious beliefs to participate in this program. The Supreme Court has been very clear that government officials cannot require religious organizations to give up their religious beliefs and practices to participate in a government program just like everybody else. So it's unconstitutional, and the treatment Darren Patterson Christian Academy is expecting is to be treated like everyone else, every other school, every other preschool in the state.
You know, so under this universal pre-K program in Colorado, can parents choose what pre-K they're sending their children to?
Yeah, they can. And so the way it works in Colorado is they have preferences, right? So when you participate in the program, you identify those preschools that you would prefer to send your child to, and then the state of Colorado matches you with your preferences. And so you can select, and parents do select Darren Patterson Christian Academy as their number one choice. And they select it as their number one choice precisely because of its Christian education that it provides. And so these parents who are supposed to be recipients, beneficiaries of this government program are being told by the state of Colorado that you cannot choose the religious education that you want for your children.
Well, and it's interesting, and I asked that question because there's no argument then. I mean, in this case, the parents are making the choice that they want to make. If they want to send their kid to that school, they can. If there was a Muslim school or a Jewish school that opened, same thing. If they wanted to send their child there, they would be able to put it on their preference sheet and aim to do that. There are no surprises here. It is interesting that this keeps happening again and again, where religious institutions and organizations get cut off from these government programs. You and I recently talked about another issue out on the West Coast. Why do you think again and again these sorts of issues continue to pop up?
It's really hard to say, especially because the Supreme Court has been so clear on this issue in the past several years, where it's told several states now that it's unconstitutional, violates the First Amendment to exclude religious organizations from a government program. And what we're seeing some officials do, and it's absolutely wrong, is to say, well, if we can't exclude you just based on your religious identity and your religious status, we're going to impose rules that would require you to give up your religious beliefs, and we're going to exclude you that way. Well, that's no different than what the Supreme Court has says violates the First Amendment.
In this case, I would imagine this is a pre-K to 8, I believe, school. So they're dealing with lots of different grades. That when they're hiring teachers, that there's a statement of faith of some sort. That's par for the course for Christian schools. Is that accurate? Their hiring process has that statement of faith.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The fact that it's Christian and gives a Christian education to students is fundamental to Darren Patterson Christian Academy, and so it does expect its teachers to share its faith. That being said, this is a school that's been around since 1982, and it does serve students and families of all faiths and all backgrounds. But they are abundantly clear to everyone who walks through those doors that this is a Christian school that provides a Christian education from a biblical worldview. And so they hire teachers accordingly. And as I just mentioned, parents understand that, they appreciate it, and that's why many of them choose to send their children to Darren Patterson.
Yeah, that's a choice that parents make. If you want to send your kid to a Bible-believing school or a school, you maybe have another faith, but you don't want to go to the public school and you're okay with sending your kid there. You know what you're getting into. You know who the school is. That's their identity. And so with this, it's interesting. I know there are certain policies they would have to bend. Policies that have to do, I would imagine, with locker rooms and bathrooms and all sorts of other elements. When it comes to hiring, though, just to clarify on this point, would they have to throw out that statement of faith essentially for the pre-K?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what the state of Colorado is telling them they have to do, and telling them as a condition to participating in the program, you have to agree not to discriminate against any person. That would include all their employees based on religion, which is really a remarkable thing because, as we were just talking about, religious schools have a right to be religious. If you tell them that you can't have a staff that consists of those who share and live out your faith, you're telling them you cannot be a religious school. It's no different.
I mean, imagine going to the public school system and saying, well, you need to get rid of your secular worldview. You can't have that here. This is a very interesting case. What are you hoping to see happen at the end of this lawsuit?
At the end of this lawsuit, we're hoping that we have a court ruling that explains very clearly that what the state of Colorado is requiring of religious schools in the state is unconstitutional. We want to see Darren Patterson Christian Academy, as well as other Christian schools in the state of Colorado, have the ability to participate in a government program just like everybody else, without being told by their government officials and elected officials that their religious beliefs aren't welcome in the state.
Well, I want to thank you, and I appreciate your time coming on, breaking this case down. It's another important one, and we'll have you back soon, I'm sure, to talk about another one of these cases. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.